What's cracklin', everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list, where each episode we take a cereal, put it on the tier list, so you know how good it is. I'm your host, Tucker. In this episode, we're doing Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond. About a year or so ago, I did the other two Cheerios Oat Crunch flavors, the oats and honey and the cinnamon. Both of those did get a C, but I remember them being fairly high C's, so that's a good sign. And on top of that, the oats and honey one specifically, I look back on fondly. I have memories of it and think, oh yeah, that was a good cereal. So maybe that means that this one is going to validate that and be real solid, or it's going to prove my memory wrong and not be as great as I remember. But worth pointing out, I think if nothing else, it was going to be better than last episode's Team Cheerios, because that was a letdown, and I don't expect this to be. Let's just open it up, see what it's like. Ooh. Little rough box opening. Okay, not a super specific scent, just kind of some almond sweetness and some Cheerio. Now, since I've done Honey O's in between these, seeing these pieces reminds me of Honey O's as well as the Oat Crunch Cheerios. That's kind of fun. But yeah, it just looks like Oat Crunch Cheerios, but some almond slices. Now the giant ones that Kind had, just your average cereal ones. Very sad if this gets lost again. Okay. Here we go. Okay, interesting. There's not a honey in this one, of course. There's the almonds and your base oat crunch flavor. But there's a moment there where I had a reminiscence of a flavor. I couldn't place what it was. But then I realized what it was, and I was still very confused because I thought of almond poppy seed muffins. Which I guess it's just because of the almond, but something about the sort of sweetness that these pieces have is triggering that memory in my brain. So that's not too bad. Not what I expected, but I can roll with it. Like the majority of almond cereals that we've had, the almonds aren't bringing a ton flavor-wise. They're just sort of doing a bit of support in the background. And luckily this time it's oat crunch, so we're getting plenty of crunchiness from the pieces, and the lack of almond crunch isn't too big a deal. But I think definitely the piece themselves is still a highlight here, more so than the almond. The almond's just kind of a little add-on. That's cool that it's there, but I don't think it would be a huge difference if it was just Cheerios Oat Crunch, period. All right, now let's try some Oat Crunch almond milk, which, if that was a real thing, would probably be kind of gross because you don't want crunchy milk. But here I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's, again, vaguely reminding me, for some reason, of a almond poppy seed muffin. Less so in the milk than on the piece, but still having that thought. Yeah, there's just a good sweetness to this that I think works both on the piece and in the milk. And Again, you're getting a bit of that almond sort of support there. And I think it's working out okay. It's not mind-blowingly good or anything, but it's enjoyable. I'm glad I wasn't wrong to have good memories of Cheerios Oat Crunch. So, clearly, I thought this was a good cereal, and I definitely enjoyed my bowl of it, but I don't think this is really leagues better than either of the other Oat Crunches. I think all three are real solid entries and show it's a good sort of subgenre for Cheerios to have and definitely worth trying. But I think they all stand fairly equally together. Like the closest thing to a knock that I could give this one is that it doesn't really have a ton of almond flavor. Like a lot of almond cereals, it's just little thin slices and they're kind of there but not doing a ton. However, they sort of changed the flavor of the base, like Oat Crunch Cheerio in here. So while it doesn't necessarily match the name, it's still unique from the other Oat Crunches, so it kind of works out still in the end. So what I'm going to do is give Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond a C. Same as the other two. I think high C for sure, but I don't think it's just quite a B range. Thinking about what makes this more a C than a B for me, I think it comes down to the piece itself, where I really like having the Oat Crunch in there and bringing some crunchiness for the entire bowl, but the Cheerios pieces themselves do get a little like chewy and squishy towards the end, and so you're getting that crunch still from the Oat Crunch, but it's sort of working to make up for the Cheerios piece instead of like complementing each other more like they do at the beginning. So I think if maybe that was a little different, that might help. I don't know. But the taste, I did enjoy. I'm still pretty confused as to why it made me think of almond poppy seed muffins, but that's the thing I like. So no real complaints with the taste, just a bit of confusion. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. Let me know if you've tried Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond. It's the newest of the Oat Crunch cereals, so maybe you hadn't seen it yet, and now you're aware and you want to go try it. Or if you have found it and tried it and you really didn't like it, you can let me know. Or if you think this is actually the standout of the Oat Crunch varieties, you can let me know as well. But until next time, stay delicious.